Welcome Year 6 to the Elements My School to High School Transition Programme. My name's Stephen Russell and I'm the founder of Elements. I'm so glad to be here with you today. Now, under normal circumstances, I would be there with you in class, helping to prepare you for that big move over to Year 7. However, these aren't normal circumstances, are they? These are circumstances that are very much unprecedented. Unprecedented meaning that they are something we are not used to. We are not used to being locked in our houses, we are not used to social distancing, we are not used to social isolation, we are not used to not seeing our friends. This is all very new for everybody, for you, for me, for your teachers, for your family. However, we are pulling through. So before we start the programme for today, let's remind ourselves of the bravery and the courage that the British people have had over the past 9 weeks. So first and foremost, we had the symbol of hope, which was the rainbow symbol. Did you design one? Did you put one in the front window of your home? It was designed as a symbol of peace, hope and happiness, showing that storms do not last forever and eventually the sun will come out again and shine its light upon everybody. And of course we had the Thursday night clap at 8 PM in recognition of the NHS staff and all the care workers around the country doing an amazing job to save lives and to protect the public. Was you out on a Thursday night at 8 PM banging your pots and your pans? I know we sure were. We had people going crazy for the toilet roll, buying toilet roll as if it was going out of fashion, packing their trolleys and baskets up with toilet roll, just in case they never sell toilet roll ever again. There will be more on the shelves, I am sure. There's been lots of baking, lots of gardening. Of course, there hasn't really been much else to do apart from baking and gardening. And how could we forget the amazing Captain Tom Moore? Captain Tom was the man who decided to walk to raise money for the NHS. Now, initially, he only started out to raise £1,000, but then went on to raise millions upon millions of pounds. And not only that, he actually inspired many other people around the world to start walking and becoming more active, and also to raise money for their local charities as well. So well done, Captain Tom. You are a symbol of hope and an amazing inspiration to us all. And of course, last but not least, you've got me in the kitchen playing the air guitar, having a bit of fun again, wearing the NHS t-shirt in recognition for the NHS, trying to show my support for them and all the amazing work that they've done and continue to do. Okay, Year 6. Now before we get going with the sessions, what I'd like to do is a couple of icebreakers. Icebreakers does not mean like this guy. We will definitely not be breaking ice in that way, I can assure you. First icebreakers, would you rather? Would you rather be able to travel to the past or travel to the future? Which one would you rather do? And why? So have a little discussion about that. Some will rather travel to the past, some to the future. But why? The second would you rather is, would you rather be able to read someone's mind or be invisible? Read somebody's mind or be invisible. So have a discussion about that, but remember it's important to answer why. Don't just say I'd rather be invisible. Why would you rather be invisible? And third and last, would you rather do Year 6 all over again and go to high school next year, or would you rather go straight to high school? Would you rather do Year 6 all over again for another year and then go to high school next year, or would you rather just go straight to high school? Have a discussion about that, and don't forget to answer why. Why would you rather do the one that you picked? Okay then, Year 6, moving on to the next exercise. I would like you to count the amount of letter Fs you can see in this text. How many letter Fs can you see? I'll give you a couple of seconds to count them, and then we'll move on to the next slide to see how many letter Fs there are. Okay then, how many letter Fs did you find? Did you find 1? Did you find 2? Did you find 3? 3 is usually the number letter Fs that people do find at first. I can tell you for sure, when I first did this exercise, I only found 3. So I think I'm very much in the minority. If you find 4, you're getting closer to a genius. If you find 5, you're much closer to a genius. But if you found 6 Fs, that means you are a genius, according to some studies. Yes, it is the ofs that put people off. There are 3 letter Fs on the word of that people seem to miss when they first count the letter Fs. What I would like you to do is attempt to find the arrow. Okay, now it's not just the arrow that I want you to find. There's a bit of a twist on this, because the story goes, once upon a time I delivered an assembly over in Birmingham, in a primary school in Birmingham, and I asked the audience and everybody to find the arrow. And there was a little girl at the front of the assembly, and she said, "I can't find the arrow, but I can see the spoon." And I was like, "Oh really? Where's the spoon then?" And she got up and she pointed to it, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. And that's imagination for you, isn't it? Even though I'd asked everybody to find the arrow, she found a spoon, and quite rightly so as well. And I did an assembly, the same assembly, in a different school this time, over in Wolverhampton, and a child said, "I can't find the spoon and I can't find the arrow, but I can find the egg." And I was like, "Egg? Wow, where's the egg?" And they got up and they pointed to the egg. So I would like to find out whether you can see the arrow, the spoon and the egg. Okay, who found the arrow? Who found the egg? Who found the spoon? Who found 2? Who found 1? Who found all 3? If you found all 3, you are definitely a genius. Because sometimes things are presented to us in front of us, we can see something, but what someone's asking us to actually look at, we can't always see it at first. And I think this is a very valuable lesson for everybody to learn. It's definitely a lesson that I've been grateful for learning over the years, that even though you think you can see something, it's not until somebody points something else and you go, "Wow, was that there the whole time?" And you're like, "Yeah, nothing's changed. It was always there. It's just that sometimes we don't always see things the first time, do we?" So it's a valuable lesson for us all to learn. Okay, year 6, here we have a riddle for you to work out, and have a good think about it, because it's not as simple as it may seem. So if there are 7 oranges and you take 4 away, how many oranges would you be left with? 7 oranges, you take 4 away, how many oranges would you be left with? Okay, who thought the answer was 3? If you thought the answer was 3, then you've gone for a simple maths equation of 7 minus 4, which would give you 3. However, that is not the correct answer. Correct answer is 4. Remember, this is a riddle. There are 7 oranges and you take 4 away. So you've taken 4 oranges away with you. So if you've taken 4 oranges away with you, then you've got 4 oranges. That brings us to the end of the Icebreakers. As I say, usually I'd be in the classroom with you and we'd be doing some movement activities. I'd be getting you out of your seats and be moving around the classroom. But obviously we can't be doing that, which is perfectly fine because we're improvising. Now, if I was there with you in the classroom, what we would do before we get going is create some group rules and boundaries. Why is it important to have group rules and boundaries? Can anybody answer that question? Important to have group rules and boundaries that everybody has respect for each other. Sometimes people might not like certain things and sometimes the people think it's okay. So what we need to do is we need to establish a set of group rules and boundaries that everybody can stick to. So what would you have in your group rules and boundaries? Would you have things like listening, not talking when somebody else is talking, respect, kindness, being thoughtful? What would you have? This is your group, so I want you to tell me. So your teacher will provide a flip chart or a board that we can write the group rules onto, and these rules will stay with us through the whole of the sessions. What I'd like to also do is introduce something called question time. So as we progress through the sessions, there may be certain questions that come up inside your head, which is perfectly fine. Get them out. Even if they seem like a silly question, I want to know about them. As silly as it may seem, I always say, there's no such thing as a silly question, so be sure to let the question out. If you do have a question, just put your hand up and ask your teacher if you can write the question on the board, ready to send me once all the sessions have come to an end. And then once all the sessions have come to a close, your teacher will gather all the questions that you've got and send them over to me via email. Sometimes when we're discussing these topics, it can make us feel a bit emotional, and because you're sat in the classroom with your friends and other students and your teacher, you might not feel at that point to discuss what you're feeling, which is perfectly fine. What I don't want you to do is just hold on to it. So if we're discussing a topic, for example, and you start to feel a bit sad or a bit angry or a bit upset, you might not want to discuss it there, and that's fine. But after the lesson, or at a moment that you can speak to your teacher, have a quick chat with your teacher and let her know or let him know how you're feeling. Or if you don't want to do that, wait till you get home and speak to whoever's at home, mum, dad, nan, brother, sister, and just say, look, we had a session today in school and something was spoken about and it made me feel really upset, or it made me feel angry. And at least that way you're getting it out of your head and you're being able to talk about it. The worst thing that we can do really is just hold on to it and not discuss it. So I'd like you to do that if you can. Now that brings us to the end of session 1. We're about to go on to session 2, where we'll be connecting the elements. I'll see you there.